Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. The subject today is, as spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, is it complicated to understand? Is it complicated to understand why a man would spend the past 36 years advocating peace, prosperity, and joy for all humans, including Americans? Spokesman for a way of life that guarantees that the essentials for human survival would be met. Essentials that include food, clothing, shelter, education, health care, and a means of providing enough goods and services for all by allowing and ensuring that everyone is invited to participate by accepting a career of their choosing, eliminating all reasons for credit, for debt, and money. A system of governing that eliminates the possibility for poverty, for crime and violence, for lying and cheating and stealing and killing and terrorism and war. Is it complicated to understand why such a man would allow the inability for further education of his own children and foregoing things that are appreciated, all in the name of something that does not exist? A dream, an ambition, all predicated on the teachings about a superpower referred to as God. A representation of what is taught as an expression of love, an exercise of such faith when the current system is as absent of such conduct as possible. A time when those that teach of it refuse to subscribe to its principles. It is rejected in religious institutions, in government, governing principles, rules, and law. The only exception is seen when a few groups have posted positive outcomes on the internet, while at the same time the nation and world slips and slides further down the rabbit hole. Is it complicated to understand why such a man would continue on a path marred in failure? Ladies and gentlemen, when building faith, it must be predicated on something. It has to be predicated on something. And I must say that in my lifetime, I'm not going to sit here and try to teach you and persuade you to believe in the Bible or to believe in God. I'm over 60-some years old now, and all my life I've heard people talk about God, and I've seen little action. Sure, if a car crashes down the street, people see it, they will run. And they will try to get the people out of that particular danger, that immediate danger. But all of the suffering that these people and most of the population go through daily before the crash, we all go through it. But it seems as if no one is concerned about running to the rescue before it happens. So I'm not going to try to tell you that God is real, to pray to God and God will answer your prayers. That's not what I've been taught. I've been taught what you've been hearing me say from people. But in my own experience, this is what I would say to you. I believe and am convinced that there is a power that I cannot see that is much more superior than anything that human beings can do. In other words, I have seen miracles. And when I say miracles, I'm talking about things impossible for people to do. And that kind of persuades me to believe that this power outside of what we can see is real. And that it is compassionate, that it is loving, because as it was revealed to me, it was an expression of love. So I believe that by my seeing this, not just hearing it as you hear about it all the time, commits me, obligates me to be an expression of what I have seen, to become a light of that which is unseen, so that at least the people who don't see it can believe that it's possible to happen. That's my story. And I've seen people try everything. I've seen Republicans, I've seen Democrats, I've seen white folks, I've seen black folks talk about government and what they're going to do. Even today we got people talking about what they're going to do. And the experience that we all have is that whatever they do will benefit some, and it'll not benefit more than some. I know this is going to happen. I know this happened and you know it. All your life you have seen it happen. Democrats feel that a Democratic representative will protect them. Sometimes it will, many times it won't. Republicans feel the same thing, but Democrats don't expect Republicans to do anything for them. Republicans don't expect Democrats to do anything for them. Blacks don't expect white folks to do anything but shoot them. And whites don't expect blacks to do anything but lie, cheat, and steal. All of these things exist in this society. And we go from day to day, from things from so-called peaceful situation to now where terrorism, bombs are being dropped all over the world, killing innocent old folks, innocent children for gas, for material gain. And then you have people who have so much wealth that it runs where? Higher than the Tower of Babel. And you got people who got nothing, who are as skinny as the handle on these glasses. And nobody seems to care. And all of your representatives, all of your leaders, your United Nations, the New World Order, the Bilderbergs, the Rockefellers, none of them give a heck about the rest of the population beyond what they can be used for. And I say, why? Well, I don't claim to be any better than any of the other citizens. In fact, I might be worse. Because, as I mentioned, I have seen miracles. Most of you have never seen miracles. Many of you have, but to you it was just, you were lucky. But to me, it was not luck. I know luck couldn't happen like that. And so, I think that more of godliness, its representation, is required of me than you. And when it is not expressed in you, perhaps it's because it has not been expressed in me. Most recently, I got a speeding ticket. It was not, I might have been going kind of fast in the area that the speeding ticket was given. But it had nothing to do with the speed. It had to do with the system needing money, or needing fees from the additional fees, should I say, and fines from the population to continue in their way of walk. But as one who has spoken to you to this day, when I go to court, I'm not paying that ticket. There's no way I'm going to pay that ticket with cash money. And I'm willing to go to jail and spend time in jail. I'm willing to come back out and drive without paying that ticket. I'm willing knowing that my license, if I get stopped again, will be violated. And I'm willing to continue to drive as long as I got a vehicle. And when I get busted from driving a vehicle without license, I'm willing to lose my car. Because this is the system that we live in. But I'm willing to do that not just because this is the system, but because I want to represent to you change. I know what these people are doing. And I do know that the vision that has been given to me allows every last one of you, men, women, old folks, young folks, black, white, Americans, and all others, to receive the benefits of life that would produce peace, prosperity, and joy, that allows them to experience and have an abundant supply of food, clothing, shelter, education, health care. And that this is provided for by giving each one of us something to do in this life. Something that has already been implanted in us that will give us our greatest joy. There are people who have joys in doing what they do except athletes. They're not the only ones. Except entertainers. They're not the only ones. There are teachers, there are engineers, there are ditch diggers, there are people who love doing what they do just as much as anyone else, and they were created to do it. And by doing what they were created to do, they would play a major role in the manifestations of these goods and services that I've just mentioned to you. I've just mentioned them to you, and it will not cause any credit. It will not cause any debt. It will not cause these people to use money to screw you over. It will not require taxation. Will not require IRS. Will not require the International Monetary Funds. Will not require the central banks. All of that which exploits your life and kills you. None of that stuff will be. This is what I have seen as one of the clearest visions that we as people on this earth, not in heaven, can have. All we have to do is determine that this is what we want, that we're tired of being messed over and we're tired of messing over others. And we make up in our own minds, in our own hearts, that we're going to treat people like we want to be treated, and we're going to demand that they treat us likewise. And that, my good friends, that, my sisters and brothers, that, my children, my wives, and the women that I've made love to and never done anything for, that to me is the greatest reward that I can play in this life. And it's if they end up taking my life because I refuse to pay a speeding ticket, then I know right then and there, whether you learn anything from it or not, my life will not be in vain, because I would have served a God-given purpose, at least to me. I want to thank you for giving me this your time. May God bless you, and have a very, very wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your life. Bye-bye.